probably the whole division might be, and I'm just being kind in that, but the whole division is dirty. And, hey, George, if you're listening, man, there is no legal justification for what these cats done, you know? That's called qualified immunity. That's what they're going to be trying to hide behind, you know? This is unlawful, period. Unlawful. Legal and lawful, they don't exist in the same space. And if there's one always superior, and that is law versus statutory regulation. Anyway, be well, blessed is the liberty. Everybody gun up. Prepare yourself spiritually, mentally for knowledge, and hopefully wisdom.
Yeah. Thanks for your call, man.
Later.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, back to line one again. Go ahead, caller.
Caller, jump in there, please.
Mark, can you hear me?
We got you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, I just think you need to remind the listeners of the case of Jose Garena in Tucson, the Marine that returned from Iraq, got married, bought a house, had a child, and was murdered by a SWAT team. After they had shot him, his wife called 911 and tried to get an ambulance to come because her husband was still alive. The ambulance showed up, and they wouldn't let the EMTs get near him until he had bled out.
Yep, I know. That's one of the things that I've tried to explain here is that we're already in such a case that if you have this enemy force show up and you are injured and they have to cover their ass, the idea behind murdering you, if for some reason, some fluke, you just don't bleed and they have to stand there and watch you for hours, it's really obvious and stretching the rubber band out, but there's no retribution for that action. And there should be retribution for that action. In fact, the only way you're going to find it now is for the people to find justice themselves. I'm of the attitude here because it's not once or twice. It's all over the country. You can go to YouTube, and like I said, you watch how many cops, they shoot somebody. Well, there's even one with a body cam thing. The one kid's walking away. He doesn't have a gun or a weapon. The cop shoots him. And then he goes, oh, he makes all the noise. He handcuffs the kid who's already been hit hard. Everybody knows, if you've been in any kind of training at all, if you can apply instantly first aid, the bleed out isn't going to happen. Even if it's a critical injury, you can get the person to medical support, but you have to apply immediate aid, first aid now. And this includes, the basic rules now of a blowout kit, everybody understands, but at least a compress, putting pressure on. These cops have the material on their bat belt, but apparently it's only for themselves, kind of like what we said about being an infantryman. When it comes to like this one kid, they got him handcuffed. Oh, he's desperately looking for the excuse for why he shot him, and there's nothing on this kid's person. And so, wow, do they turn around and immediately start to work? No, he fakes it. He goes, come on, kid. Come on, hang in there. He doesn't do anything, touch or stop the bleeding. He makes no effort to treat the wound in any way, shape, or form. It's all a lie. In fact, it's like, stop resisting, sounding like a robot repeating that while you're beating somebody to death. They've been coached. All of these things they have been coached to, and as we've been reporting this, to the point where, like I said, the level of arrogance is what's now going to get them into a war and why they are going to die. And I am not going to shed an alligator tear for any of them because it could be anybody. This couple, as the local said, sir, said murder. Everybody knows it was murder. Now, what our last caller talked about is the next step, since we already know, look how much of the onion skin and how much of the lie we've already peeled back. Well, the worst of all is, how about if they're lying completely? Because if the weapon has disappeared for two reasons. Either A, the weapon never existed at all, or B, they carried the gun away because maybe he never even got a shot off because the gun, the weapon was on the property and this was what they were going to try to use, but nobody could go boom, 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 so the gun is unfired. If the gun is unfired, then virtually every aspect of their lie is totally undermined. And if the gun is not in the property and is not demonstrated to be in the property inventory, then the argument has to be there was no gun. And if there was no gun, then the whole excuse for all the bullets that were fired, because this gets back to it's totally one-sided. It's the cops' just policy is shoot you and murder the peasant. We just had this case back east. Now, granted, this guy was robbing a place, but he was robbing the place with a plastic toy gun. He could not shoot anyone. And we have all these cops that are crying now, why? Because one detective was shot dead, and the other guy was shot and critically injured, and everybody else got winged. Well, there were 7 to 11 cops. They started out with 7, and a handful more jumped in, and they started wailing away with their guns. The only people who had a gun to shoot somebody with were the cops. The only way that the detective died is because of cop bullets. The other guy that got wounded badly was shot by other cops. There wasn't anybody that had a gun. That criminal that was robbing the place had nothing to shoot anyone with, people. So the only people who could be who have shot the cops were the cops. Now let's take it to this case here. Now, in the case you're talking about, it's one step where they got control of the crime scene, if you want to call it that. See, my problem is they try to call all of your houses crime scenes. You don't pick your house up and go down the road. These pigs, this police state, comes down to your house and pisses in your yard. Well, guess what? It's not a crime scene. It's my home. It's your home. It's, call her, it's your home. And in this case, what happens to you? You've got these bottom-feeding pieces of filth that do this. Why are they still breathing? America's at the push point on this. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry, please.
I'm sorry. The caller has dropped off at this point. We do have another caller on the other line.
Caller, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. We are close, I know. Caller, jump in there, please. Don't let me interrupt. Go ahead.
Yes, Mark, Joe, this is an update on the independent reporter out of Houston that has been doing the good reporting on that situation. His YouTube channel is News Now Houston. And Mark,
excellent.
There's been 2 recent postings on an update. It is on Discord. I recommend you check out Discord from time to time on this, for updates. Apparently, he was busted last Friday, 1 week ago, down in the valley. Okay? They got him, to further exacerbate the situation of getting the truth out, and the validity of his investigations. There's been some updated information on his situation. If one goes to News Now Houston on YouTube, you should be able to find that. Now, it's been 3 days since I have looked and gotten this information, but he was busted supposedly in the valley. Do not know why he was down there, and apparently some type of old sex type of charges, registering as a possibility as a sex offender, et cetera, et cetera. Over.
Well, then that sounds, remember, first of all, number one, remember propaganda with the cops. What they do is they throw garbage in there, just like the lie about this couple. So what happens, News Now Houston, and that's what I was going to mention. Thank you for bringing him up. The only real information you're getting was direct reporting where they were talking to the people there. It wasn't the filtered, controlled news service. He went in right behind the cops when they were finishing the crime scene. He reviewed the whole thing, did an excellent overview. Guys, you can go to YouTube. It's News Now Houston. The Discord, I haven't been up on that for the last day or two here. Forgive me, but I can't do it really. I can, but I've got to do it in a roundabout way. Most important here is, again, the fact that the information, the only place where you got it is from an independent reporter. They are going to fabricate. They're going to lie. Let me point something out. What did that union pig say down there in Texas, down there in Houston? What did he say? He was threatening the population. If you didn't go along with the official story, that they were going to put you on a list and they were going to get you. Now, I'll tell you what, that's what I'm talking about with the regard to the level of arrogance on the part of the police state. Remember, guys, that was on... Go ahead, caller, jump in there, please.
Well, now it appears that this individual, this independent reporter, with News Now Houston YouTube channel, appears now that he is off. He is off the streets now and in their custody. Okay, it appears to me that now he needs our help in some type of way.
Exactly. That's why I'm going to have to start working on this right away. Everybody needs to pitch in.
Because
go ahead, sir.
This is where, because of this individual, this is where this good information, this is how this has come out, and we have been made aware of, through his efforts.
Do we know which, was it the county or was it Houston that arrested him? Was it Houston
This was
leading?
the Valley. Once again, for the 4th or 5th time, he was in the Valley, South Texas Valley. And apparently it was last Friday when he was down there. Did not mention why he was down there, but he was apprehended in the Valley, waiting for extradition back to the Houston area for some type of supposed older, years and years and years ago charge. Once again, if someone will go to his YouTube channel, News Now Houston, there should be updates on that. There were several people that had updated and put that information out about his situation, because how could he have posted that if he's in custody? Over.
Right. No, again, that's something we also talked about, is backups to backups, and again, reserve. Somebody else needs to have a working knowledge of what you're doing and be able to actually work the technology. So we appreciate the heads up on that. Anything else? We're almost to the top, sir. Go ahead.
No, sir. I'm out.
Thank you. And again, I'll do what I can from my end. We'll actually need to pitch in and work on this together. We are going to hear the music in a minute here.
You're listening to the music.
I can barely hear it in the background, but it's coming up. I can hear it now. For everybody out there, guys, again, prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. You need to have a plan. You need to organize with your friends. You need to pay attention, because this is not going to get better. It is going to get worse unless we stop it. And then it won't get worse. We will put an end to it. God bless our republic.
Breaking news alert.
And that breaking news involves the arrest
of... We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire is on the run.
We're on the march, night and day.
Together, we need to do this. You need to work together. You need to help each other out. The only strength the American people have ever had is the American people. It has nothing to do with supposedly somebody saving you from the government end. It has to do with right from the get-go. We fought the central government to fix the problem. It took us 8 years worth of war to get that done. We'll be back right here on the Rock.
New evidence was obtained by Deer Park Police that led to the new charge. Over the years, Worden has appeared in dozens of YouTube videos criticizing law enforcement and challenging the legal limits of where people are allowed to record videos and take photos. Worden is already a convicted sex offender. It is not clear why he was in McAllen. He will eventually be brought back to Harris County to face a judge on this new charge.
Mouthwash is a unique natural formula. Breaking news alert.
And that breaking news involves the arrest of a Houston area man known for making YouTube videos criticizing police. Late this afternoon, Earl Worden was taken into custody by McAllen police after being charged with sexual assault of a child. These allegations date back to 2002. New evidence was obtained by Deer Park Police that led to the new charge. Over the years, Worden has appeared in dozens of YouTube videos criticizing law enforcement and challenging the legal limits of where people are allowed to record videos and take photos. Worden is already a convicted sex offender. It is not clear why he was in McAllen. He will eventually be brought back to Harris County to face a judge on this new